Hello and welcome back to my channel. Sorry about the previous video. I saw that I had a couple of calls coming through and I had to take them, so hence the reason I had to cut off rather sharp. And also I did find out it had the advantage that I think my video was 45 minutes, and it managed to upload to YouTube really much faster. The one I had yesterday, which went on for about an hour and 20 minutes, that took absolutely ages to upload. I couldn't believe it. And I was like, like in the old days when we used to have like the old Windows thing, and you were downloading stuff based on these old internet connections, and you'd have the little timer, and it would be going from like 1 minute, and then suddenly it would become like 10 minutes. I remember Eddie Izzard once did a sketch about that, downloading and stuff, whatever. And he was going, it goes like from like 1 minute, and then the next minute it's 30 seconds and whatever. And then he's going like millennium, like millions of years. It was really funny. So I think I've learned my lesson about videos. They should be maybe under, and certainly under an hour seems to be the optimum. We'd left the characters. They'd just done quite a momentous thing. They'd rolled for their wandering monster check, and luckily it just, narrowly, it was a 2, so they managed to avoid that. They're now in the position where they have now been down the dungeon for 3 hours, and I think we agreed that their cutoff was going to be 4 hours elapsed time. Now, the other thing, I felt a wee bit cavalier about this, and I think that the way that this rule should be interpreted is you only get one chance to listen, to confirm that there is a monster there. This is the appendix, a little footnote to aid solo play. Listening at doors, use a 12-sided die, and a 1 is rolled. There is a monster with or without treasure. Procedure is then normal, but surprise. I think, on reflection, I thought maybe I should only really do that one. There's one check allowed, and that would be fairer. I think the only thing I'm going to maybe mitigate for this one, we had 3 attempts in Daggerbird, and Daggerbird is feeling a wee bit left out, and he needs something to raise the morale and get him motivated as part of the team, and not just the chief lantern holder and provider of medical assistance. If he could have maybe just some impact on this adventure, I think we'll just ignore the fact that they heard something, but maybe they're aware of something, and it might give them an advantage. Say we do generate a monster on the other side, I'm going to have some subtle advantage that they have. I think that's a fairer way. And that first roll, where I think it was Lindris tried to listen, that would be the definer. I think that's a fairer way of ruling on that particular thing. Now, that leaves us with the quandary of what do we do now? Now, just a quick recap of our situation. We've only done 5 periodic checks, so we've got another 15 to go, so that's going to take a long time. We've got we don't have any problem with our light source because we've got our lantern and we've got our torches as backup. We've really only got 5 more turns because we're going to have, that was a rest turn. So let's say we start 4 turn. So we're into our first one there. So the characters, they agree, right, we've only got 50 more minutes to play with. I don't know, we keep on talking about, in fact, just talking about time again. We keep on talking about, yes, we've only got we do this for 10 minutes, we do that. But they don't really have watches and clocks and whatever. I'm just trying to work out, they must have almost like an innate sense of time, and be able to kind of, maybe that could be Dagobert's role. He's the timekeeper. He internally keeps this clock. Maybe it's something to do with his worship of Bane. It's kind of celestial guidance, about what the time is. Bane can say it's 2 o'clock, and 10 minutes or something. Yeah, internally that's what Dagobert says, and he can articulate that as a kind of divine thing. I don't know, but you ever wondered how they can actually, do they go around with hourglasses or something? Maybe they do. Maybe that's the way to do it. They've got an hourglass. Yeah, actually, that does make sense. A vital piece of in what's in your backpack, an hourglass, because they can use that, and they can also calibrate gradations of the hour, so they could divide it into 10 minutes. Yeah, that is a good idea. Right, we'll have note for future, the hourglass. See, this is what happens if you just spend a bit of time standing back from your adventure, and mulling over some points. Eventually there will be some strange form of logic coming through. So we've now discovered the radical way that characters in Advanced Dungeons and Dragons can measure the passage of time. They use their hourglass. And I suppose they must have had some scientific method in the first place to calibrate the hourglass in the first place. But no, let's not go into all the science behind that and how it can be supplied as a mass item. We've got this prospect here, so I think the characters will decide to what they're going to do. Because if they do open this and say it has got a monster in it, and they've only got 50 minutes, they could be involved in something really quite serious. But it could be a room with just treasure by itself, and suddenly their whole adventure becomes so worthwhile. And they've got prospect of more. They've got prospect of treasure here, and potential treasure down here. What's it going to be? Well, the whole point of having characters and adventuring is they're risk takers, and they live on the edge. So they've decided, right, and even Dagobert's for it. He says, yes, we've got to step forward and find out. So this is another periodic check. Oh no, what's beyond the door? It's what's beyond the door. It's what's beyond the door check on Appendix A. So bearing in mind that this could be a mistake, but it could also be a fantastic choice. We'll do our D20. So let's see what our D20, make sure that it's all in focus and camera. 11. What does that sound like? 11. Passage turns. Oh no, I'm looking at the periodic check. Oh, I'm really getting carried away here. 11. Space beyond door is room. Yeah. Okay. We're into that scenario again. Now, looking at the size, what sort of size of room do you think we're most likely to get? And that's almost like one giant floor plan, isn't it? I'm maybe going to have to put some darker lines on just to differentiate. Because it's getting a wee bit difficult. Certainly if I put a room in here, I'm going to have some discrete walls. But let's just find out first what we get. So it's a room. We have to roll a d20 for size. 5. Square. Now that is amazing, isn't it? Square 30 by 30. Square 30. Isn't that amazing? That's serendipity, isn't it? You saw it here first. You saw it here on this channel first. An amazing thing before your very eyes. You were thinking, there's no way, after all that random determination, what's the probability, you know, it's like being a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the improbability drive. And what is the probability that you would do all this mapping and you come back all the way back to your starting thing and you'd have this little space here and then you would generate a 30 by 30 room just through die rolls? What are the chances? And of course, we've got Lindris. Maybe his map making skills aren't quick because it's a wee bit squint. And yeah, it's a wee bit on the squint side. Yeah, I suppose it's maybe the pressure. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to do maybe just a bit of an override on this because I don't like squint lines. That's a bit better. And I'll just cross that out. So I don't, yeah, someone could probably work out the probability that that would happen. And I've just actually rewatched the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I got as a Christmas present, I got the we had the BBC produced back in, I think it must have been the early 80s, right at the start of the 80s, I think, a 6-part series which summarized. It almost like took in the Hitchhiker's Guide and the restaurant at the end of the universe. And it was fantastic. It was such a good dramatization. And I do recommend, you know, anybody that wants to just see the authentic way to do it. It's not great high tech and there's not special effects and stuff, but there's just something really very quaintly English about it. And that's the thing about the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I think it's a very British English type of, it's a bit like Monty Python or something. It's that kind of humor. It's very innately English. And just the cast, everything is just perfect in it. And then I remember watching the film that was released, I think was it the noughties or the tens? And that was terrible. It had a great cast too, and it was just awful. It didn't have any heart. But then you'll be getting me all going on about Dune next and the David Lynch versus the new one. And yeah, I think I just maybe just I'm stuck in my old school ways. Right, we were marveling at the amazingness of that 30 by 30. We've now got to discover the number of exits. Now again, looking at this, we are I think I'm almost going to have to make this slightly bolder now. So yeah, I think I need to make this differentiated already, because it's really starting to look a bit confusing, isn't it? And I don't know whether this is going to make it look more distinctive, but it will give it a good try. You know, put it this way, we aren't probably going to change this, so I can probably commit it to hard pen. But this is for the sake of just keeping it distinctive as a room. So I don't know whether that appears a bit better on the camera, but so we've got a corridor coming here. We've got this room. We touch all these different rooms. We touch everything, really, don't we? Yeah. So what I need to do is decide how many exits we've got. So we'll roll dice d20. 12. And it's 900. So 12 is 10 to 12. Up to 1200. 10 to 12. 0. Check once per 10 foot for secret doors. Yeah. So we're back to the theme of the Lost Palace of Dunmorna are secret doors ad infinitum. So there are going to be secret doors in that. So what we need to do, obviously, after that is what everybody's been waiting for, the chamber or room contents. So here we go. And bearing in mind that we do have, if there are monsters here, we do have an innate advantage based on our previous roll. 5. Empty. Okay, you saw it there first. Okay, so let's go back to basics. We have this as room 6. So after all that build up, we've now got an empty room. But it's got secret doors, potentially. So what if there are secret doors up here? This is all into mapped areas, so we'd be hoping for some form of secret door up there. You know, that would make the only sense, really, wouldn't it? Because everything else has been mapped. Okay, so room 6 is, it's 30 by 30. It's a room. Secret doors. To be found. TBF. Empty. So there's nothing, it's like this room has never been disturbed for eons, or at least 170 years. Deathly quiet. Okay, so the characters, they kind of look at each other and think, right, let's map this quick. It's taken us, I think we were already up to, we've taken, in fact, we hadn't taken any turns. So I would say that that's going to take, that'll take a turn, 2 turns to map that. Yeah, because that's a 20 by 20 and then it's another 20 square feet. So that's going to take 2 turns to map. And we don't check for, do we check for any secret doors? Yeah, I think we should just, I think what we should do is, we don't do the checking, but we have to determine whether there's secret doors here and here, because they're the only ones that will make sense. Because otherwise, unless they, I wonder if the secret door into that, where that spider's thing is, what would that do? Okay, let's do these 2 first. So let's do this one, and that's 1 to 5 on a d20. It's going to be, oh, narrow miss. It's a 6, and a 1 to 5 on a d20. This one, no. So there's no secret doors here. So there are going to have to be secret doors somewhere, but the ones that make sense. So let's go through the logic here. It's saying that there are we have to make a secret door check every 10 feet. And we won't be able to go into other rooms because we've checked all these before, the secret doors. So we know that they're not on any of these, although we haven't checked this one, have we? Because we've never got into that room. Okay, let's check that one too. Yeah, that'd be crazy, isn't it? A secret door going... Right, so there's no secret door there. So I would say that they haven't found any, but there is the question mark that, you know, they have to recheck those ones and see whether there's a secret door or not. I think we could leave that as a bit of suspense, as a potential. And I'll just make a quick note in secret door to be found, and we'll have them as north squares, times 3. We have to recheck them next time. Okay. What we'll do is we'll look at our time thing and think, right, okay, I think we're going to have to bail on the Lost Palace of Dunmorna for the time being. We've got plenty of information to come back with maybe the proper equipment. You know, maybe we come back with some flasks of oil and burn this thing out, or you know, maybe have a think about the best strategy for sturges. Yeah, that could be a possibility. Okay, they all agree that yes, it's time to get back up. See if we can climb back up. It's 3:20. Let's get back out into the daylight and get back up here. So they move back up the stairs, down the chasm, until they reach the point where they had come down before, and they say, Tristan, Tristan, you're still around, thank goodness. Why don't you go up, and then every, now we determined it was 20 meters, so that is roughly 60 feet. And I think you have to do a check. You have to do a check on this thing. Where was the little checking thing on thieves? You have to do a check. Here we go. Now we realized it was the easiest one. So every 24 feet, non-slippery, rough and with ledges or many projections. And we thought it's not a sheer cliff. It's got maybe a bit of a slope to it. So it's not going to be an impossible climb. So I would say that he has got to make maybe 2 checks. So we've got the characters at the bottom here. We've got Tristan, Dagobert, and Lindris. And what Tristan has to do is get up to the top here, and that's 60 feet. So he's got 24 here. He's got 24 here. And that leaves a further 12 to get up. So I would say he's got an, and based on, I think it was 85% was his climbing ability. I'm almost sure of that. I don't want to make sure. I want to make sure I've got it right. But I think it was half orcs. Remember we were talking about half orcs. Climb walls, thief, 85%. Yeah. This maybe gives something. If we don't make a success, what happens? But let's go on the basis that he's good. So we'd have an 85% check here, 85% check here, and we'll assume he gets up and over, if that's the case, and he makes that. Now, to guarantee maybe a bit more safety, he's got his rope, and he's still got four spikes left. So I would suggest that once he gets to this, maybe he gets to this level here, and he spikes something in. So maybe he spikes in at 15 feet. He puts his spike in, and he ties the rope round it, just in case. So if he does fall down here, he's only going to fall a few feet, and that's going to protect him, because that's going to be 9 feet. So 9 feet, it's not going to he's going to hit the bottom again. He's going to kind of dangle here. So that's what he'll do. He'll do that. He'll hammer this in. He'll tie the rope round tight, and then he'll get up here, and then he has to roll 85% to make that particular point. So he's navigating up, 85%, yes. So he makes it there. And he does the same again here, about halfway between there, say about 30, maybe 40 feet. He hammers it in. That's the second spike. So we do another spike off the inventory. We're up to 4 spikes. We've got two spikes left. And then he has to do another 85% check here. Come on, Tristan, do it. 66, yes. So success. And then he can scuttle all the way up now, and he's at the top. And he says, I've got the rope, and he's got the rope dangled down, and it's connected here. He says, what you need to do is when the last person to come up, just untie the rope from the stake. You won't be able to pull the stake back out, but you'll be able to untie the rope, and we can recycle the rope. Well, unfortunately, we'll have to leave our stakes in, but what are the chances that anybody will notice that? You know, just some iron stakes. You know, that could be debris from the palace. Who knows? So Dagobert goes next. He climbs up, and there'll be no risk because he's got the rope and he's protected. Tristan says, well done. Lindris comes up. He unties this bit here, and the guys are all up on the top. Okay, so that was successfully achieved. Well done, Tristan. And this is one thing that Adventures & Dragons is maybe different from, say, like Chivalry and Sorcery. It's a game I used to play a lot, and you'd get experience for something like that, because like when thieves did Thieves' skills, that earned them experience. So by doing that, climb walls, they maybe would have got maybe 10, 20 experience points or something. You know, you just got it for being a thief, really. But that's not part. It was really just kind of the treasure orientation, I think, on Adventures & Dragons, which is fair enough because that's you know the ground rules. Okay, now to reset, we are gonna have to get my folder again. This took us. It took us 6. Yeah, we're now suddenly back on the surface of this, and we reckon it was about a mile. Now we know our route now, even though it's all smoky and you know, terrible conditions. You know, the sun, if there is a sun, it's still light. It's still reasonably light. We can make our way back here. That's only going to take maybe maybe 20 minutes. So we're already up to 4:30, say. 4:30. And they reckon that it's probably going to take, to get back here is going to be about 6 miles. So that's going to maybe take a couple of hours to get back. So we are going to get back just after nightfall, but hopefully we'll be doing our last leg on the road. However, because we're outdoors, we get the inevitable the inevitable thing where we have potential of outdoor encounters. So we go to our master chart, which is here. Just in the front. And the overall hex is hills in this. So in a case of doubt, always use the hills one. So hills, we have encounters in the noon. We don't have it in the evening. We have it at night. And we have it at pre-dawn. So we've passed noon. We're not quite at the evening yet. And there's no check then. There's no check in the evening. So I would say that we will not have an encounter check just because of the time of day. Okay, well that was a lucky escape, wasn't it? Because that would have been quite disastrous having to deal with, you know, just probably the characters are quite, you know, mentally and physically exhausted. You know, done all, you know, when you think of it, you've actually gone through all that. You know, we've gone painstakingly through 3 videos of actually just doing that basic exploration. And you know, when you think all the effort that's involved the detailed mapping, the level of anxiety and anticipation and nervous tension. That's draining and exhausting. The fact that it's horrific, this situation. So I think the characters are probably absolutely exhausted. So they head on through the these gentle hills, and they hit the road, and then they spend the last half hour as night starts to fall, and it's very kind of dusky. They reach the gates of Marchton. They knock on the door, the small gate, and they say, "Please, can you let us in?" The guardsman says, "Who goes there?" He does the friend or foe. We go friends. And he goes, "Oh, good. In that case, you can come in." No, maybe it's not as orthodox as that, because that would probably just be a bit gullible. But he has seen them leave earlier on this morning. So if he is still the same guy on duty, which is probably a good chance, because it's probably into their, they've probably got quite long shifts. Or maybe the guardsman has given information to anybody on guard to say there's been a group of adventurers heading out. They left at 7 o'clock, and they have kind of gave me a brief explanation of what they were doing, and they said that they would return by nightfall, and that's exactly what they've done. So the gatekeepers are fully briefed of what the situation is, and they're expecting, and it's quite obvious who we are. There's an elf, there's a half elf, and there's a cleric. And that's what appears. So we go through the gate, and we get back into the Green Dragon Inn, and Fredegar's there. He says, "Oh, welcome back, young masters. Oh, you look exhausted, and you're all covered in soot, and my goodness, you're certainly going to need, And he orders like the serving wenches and whatever. Says, run them hot baths and prepare their room, and let's put on a nice fine meal. Any gains from this venture?" Fredegar looks kind of with anticipation, and the characters say, "Well, unfortunately this time, Fredegar, we would classify this as, they have to put a positive spin on it. So this is Dagobert, and this is where Dagobert goes into Dagobert mode, and this is one of the benefits of having Dagobert in the party, his amazing charisma of 13, and he dazzles Fredegar with the story of the fact that they have explored this ruin, and they have determined that there are a few items that they can, for future adventuring. However, bearing in mind that information is power, and information should be only divulged to people that on a need-to-know basis. So the characters are savvy enough to realize you don't really want to give too much away. So Dagobert, he doesn't really do that. He just says, "Yeah, it was fine, Fredegar. It was this and that and whatever," and almost not a fob story, but he doesn't really maybe divulge too much information. He says, "Well, we can talk about it tonight. Where's that bath?" So the characters do all that type of stuff, and then we're back to a situation where what are they going to do? They've had their day. They've had a little mini adventure for today. That is now day 3, coming towards the end. If they come back down again for that evening, which they probably will do, just to join in with the merriment of the Green Dragon Inn, and Rowena's on singing some laments about fallen heroes. I think we just need to do a roll to make sure. We did on the other night, the night before, to do whether there's any incident worthy of note. So it's a 1 in 10. No, so nothing happens that night, and then the characters go off to bed and they have a good night's sleep. And I think that's almost a juncture. Maybe don't do such a massive video today. Just to call it, draw a line in the Palace of Dunmorna expedition for the time being. What we can maybe do is reflect on what the future strategy might be of the characters. So we know that they still have, what the characters have in their advantage, in their favour, is that they have quite a sum of money. So what's all that together? That's 85 plus 23 plus 104. They've got 212 gold pieces, which is a lot of money. So they could spend some money on, I think they should go and visit Thidebert's Emporium. And let's look at their potential adversaries. They've got this spider that I think it's very worthwhile taking on the spider, because there is treasure there. They can sense the treasure. Maybe not worthwhile taking on the Sturges, but if we want to try and explore more, maybe that's our only option. But we might be more prepared. So what would we do with the Sturges that would help, apart from insect repellent? We take lashings of that. I think the spider is probably the best bet, because the other thing was that, remember this room 2, is it, or room 3, secret door to be found. So that is one of our famous 0 asterisks. Look at the footnote, secret doors every 10 feet. So this could be a good this is our jumping off point. So I think that determines our strategy. I think we need to be armed with enough equipment to take on this spider, and probably fire is one of the best ways to do it. We've got missiles as well. Maybe Lindris, who is dexterous, needs to get some sort of missile weapon so that he can throw something at it. That might be an idea too. Okay. So you can see that there may be a number of strategies involved here. Okay, I think the characters are just going to sleep on it, because it's like anything. If you sleep on it, you might come up with the solution, and that's what they're going to do. So in a metaphorical way and an actual real way, we're going to take a nightcap and sleep on it, and then see what we can come up with tomorrow. Okay. Well, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.